Okay, I think recording has started. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to our Rep Roadshow. So myself and Olivia, and we'll introduce ourselves properly in a second, but we are here from Greenwich Students' Union to give you a bit of an overview of how the programme representative system is going to work for 23-24, how you can get involved, how your students can get involved, and then we'll have chance for some questions and feedback towards the end as well. So my name's Emma Pleasant, and I'm the Head of Student Voice and Representation at GSU, and I'll let Olivia introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Olivia. I'm the Academic Communities and Representation Manager at GSU.
So today, like I say, we're going to do a bit of a whistle-stop tour of what programme reps are, the sorts of opportunities available for programme reps, what you can do and what you can get from your programme reps, and then that chance for questions at the end.
So for every year group, there are 2 programme representatives in every programme, and they're elected students who are there to represent views of their cohorts back to the university. And we very much see it as a two-way relationship, that they're there to kind of collect the views from students, but also to listen to the faculty staff and to you guys, and to be able to have that two-way relationship and conversation with the students and the university. Last year, we made some changes with programme representatives, and we very much took it on a feedback basis. We did a lot of feedback around April. We spoke to a lot of you and the staff at the university to gather what had gone well and what we can make improvements on. So this year, we're rolling out some changes, and we'll touch a bit more on that later in the presentation. Programme representatives will be working with the school network officers, which Emma will touch on in a second, to make sure that feedback is heard at every level. And practically what that looks like is that they'll be the ones attending programme committee meetings with you, and potentially SSLCs if that's what your faculty is doing. They'll also be attending our new school network forums and making sure that the students are represented at student assembly as well. We've said that we've got 2 per year. However, we're very open to discussions, and this is one of the points we're quite flexible on. So if you would like any more representatives in your year, we can increase that number as well, because we're aware that some cohorts are a lot bigger than others.
And as Olivia said, new for this year are school network officers, and we're really excited to be introducing them into this kind of programme rep structure. So there's going to be 1 school network officer per school, and they are going to be working closely with yourselves as programme leads, with the faculties and with our reps to offer a kind of supervisory level. So they're going to be a paid role, which is really exciting, and hopefully we'll give those really engaged reps a chance to kind of move up and to really engage more with yourselves and with us. So they're going to be collating all of that feedback that comes in from the reps at programme level and helping to create a picture of what's going on with the students at the school level that can be shared with us and with yourselves across the faculty. As Olivia said, they're going to be attending lots of meetings with you, so PCMs, student assembly, school network forums, to really make sure that they're representing the students and to allow that feedback from programme reps to feed up into the right channels. So we're offering about 30 hours per year. That's across the academic year, so roughly 10 hours per term paid work. So it's a really good opportunity for reps and your students, the ones that are really engaged with you, to earn a little bit of extra money as well while they're studying and already having those conversations with their peers and with yourselves. And we're really excited about that structure this year, and we think it's really going to enhance what was offered last year.
Great. So how does GSU support programme representatives? So one of the key things we do is that we have ongoing development opportunities through the year. And that kind of coincides with the next point, which is about training and development of transferable skills. So when programme representatives first take the role in October, we make sure that we give them a set of training. This year we're going to be doing some online training through a set of compulsory videos, which all reps will be able to take. It's not long. I know some of you expressed when we did our feedback sessions over last summer that you had worries about how long the training was for students. It's not very long. It's just a quick introduction. But it's designed to really help set programme representatives up and to make sure that they're able to fill their roles when they take them, and that they're best prepared when they're coming to the first PCMs with you in the autumn term. The training is kind of focused on how they can gather feedback and how they can then present that in a way that's the best representation of all the kind of different views and the feedback pieces that they've received. We're also offering training on EDI, and support on kind of navigating university spaces, and a bit of background about what it is that the university does and what it is just GSU's role is in that as well. And we're then also offering a continuing set of development opportunities throughout the year in the form of kind of monthly sessions where we're going to be adding different skills to reps and kind of offering that as an additional training. We'll also be pairing that up with a set of in-person training, which will be running 5 different sessions in October for reps to really kind of grow and enhance some of those skills that they picked up in the online compulsory bits. Last year, we also ran a rep conference in February. We're looking at how we can change that and expand it to best suit students' needs this year as well. So other skills that reps will gain is networking. So that's really where you guys can play a key role in helping to make sure that reps kind of have a good sense of who it is that they're working with within the academic team and the faculty staff. But also if there's any key contacts you can point them to across the university or their program spaces. So if there's any contacts you have in the workplace as well, that's where that really comes in. But I think the key kind of point is that they can come away having some good interrelationships within their rep cohorts, within their staff faculty cohorts, and within university staff as well. The other thing that we offer is a rewards and recognition scheme. So we trialled this for the first time last year, where we ran a scheme where we kind of did a points-based system for any extracurricular stuff they did beyond their rep role. So that consisted of a variety of things. It might be consisting of running some of our elective positions, taking additional surveys and feedback, getting involved in some of the other extracurricular opportunities we have at GSU. And those then went towards a tally of points that they could earn. And you might have seen some of them receiving their awards for this at the SLTAs, which some of you will have attended. We also are really proud of the career boosting experience that we offer to our reps. So that a lot of stuff can go on their CV, and we try and help our representatives by doing CV building workshops, LinkedIn learning, to try and help them to kind of take the skills that they've learned and then apply that to their CV and their job prospects as well. And of course, the key thing that they can do is making a difference to the university experience. The roles of reps is invaluable in terms of Greenwich's structure. And we really rely on kind of on that two-way feedback piece where reps can kind of interact with the university and be able to gather feedback from their cohorts as well to try and make the programs better and to make the experience for all students as best as it can be. So I think the role that they play in that is completely invaluable. They also kind of helped create a sense of community. Last year, we ran a lot of socials for representatives. We did things like ice skating, movie nights, again, to try and help create a sense of belonging within the reps themselves and give them a bit of pride in their work. As Emma touched on, this year, we're also going to be paying school network officers. So although we kind of trialed the role last year, we had a kind of a split function last year where they were doing a bit of representation, a bit of community. This year, they're purely going to be focused on the representation piece, and we're going to be paying them to kind of enhance feedback as well. And there'll also be support with campaigning across the university. Our officers have some key campaigns which they focus on throughout the year, and the programme reps will be a key integral part of that as well.
Thanks, Olivia. Yeah, and I think what's really exciting is that for you guys in the faculty is that with all of this in place, you're getting sort of hand-delivered these fantastic reps who are going to really support and enhance your programs and work with you, and we do all the sort of the legwork. And as part of that, here is the kind of timeline of which we're working on to get those in place for you for your first rounds of PCMs in the autumn. So nominations for program reps open on the 4th and run till the 8th of October. We then open voting from the 9th to the 12th of October. So please do encourage students on your course to be voting for their program reps. Votes are going to get counted on the 13th, and then results will be announced on the 16th. So by the 16th of October, we'll be able to show you who your reps are, and you'll be able to get started with them.
And we know that last year some of these timeframes were quite tight, and so we've been working with external partners to try and provide additional services this year, again based on the feedback that we heard, to try and combat those tight timeframes. We've also extended the nominations period by a week because we had a lot of concerns raised through the faculty that there wasn't enough time for like first-year students to get properly integrated in the curriculum and to understand their cohorts and what was going on at university. It's a very quite scary experience coming to university for the first time. So we've made changes based on your feedback to kind of extend that nominations period. So another key question we actually got during the feedback sessions we did in the in the spring term was, why are we doing elections? Why don't we just kind of put reps straight into the role? Why are we bothering with the whole elections process? Well, firstly, is that it's fair and transparent, and everything that GSU is kind of based on like democratic processes where we can refer back to students and ask their say. And so by running elections, we make sure that kind of the process is transparent to everyone, and that we can run it within our fair democratic guidance. The other point is that all students have an opportunity to take part. And so by running kind of sessions every year, I know some universities kind of once they've elected their reps in the first year, they continue them through for the rest of their university experience. By running elections every year, we ensure that students continually have an opportunity to take part. And that means that kind of if someone's very keen in the first week, but then kind of drops off and is less keen through like the rest of the time at university, or they simply just don't have time, it still presents that opportunity for other students to get involved. And similarly, a student kind of might come in very nervous to their university time, and then throughout their time at university really grows with the cohort and with the program. It gives them the opportunity to take part and kind of be their key leader for the program. So that kind of feeds into the next point, that engaged students get a chance to develop in communities and work more closely with academic teams. We also think that the elections process helps develop students' communication, influence, leadership and presentation skills. As part of the elections, they can kind of form their own manifesto. We help to do campaign training. So it kind of gives that more fleshed out experience as well, rather than just kind of nominating directly into the roles. And lastly, it gives students a chance to have their say. So I think this is the most important point to us. So it goes back to that point of kind of saying, rather than having one student who's elected right at the start of their time at university and then continue through the rest of the experience, it gives students a kind of every year, the students on the cohort get to have a say in who is their lead person, who is their representative. And that's really important. I think that students feel that they're involved in the process, and that their say is having an impact as well. And therefore, those people who are elected have a very clear democratic mandate behind them to kind of be the representative for their cohort.
So how do students nominate? So we have really clear guidance that we'll be sharing throughout Welcome as well. These kind of election guidebooks that students can pick up so they can see how to nominate themselves and how to vote for each other when the time comes. And we'll also be sharing this around with yourselves and with students closer to the time. But just as a bit of an overview, there are kind of 8 steps for a student to nominate themselves. The first being, of course, to head over to our website, which is greenwichsu.co.uk/elections. Click on the role that they want to nominate themselves for. So they'll see each role dependent upon the programme and the year of study. So they might see, as an example, biomedical science year 1, biomedical science year 2. So just selecting the right year and the right programme. They need to log in with their university details and make sure that the details are correct. Then they just need to select that they want to stand and submit their nomination. They can then upload their manifesto as well if they choose to. And of course, we can support with that manifesto piece as well. And then once they've clicked submit, that's it. They're nominated and ready to go, ready to get their peers to vote for them. So again, you might want to leave them some space in lectures and seminars to give them a chance to talk about their manifestos and really pitch themselves to their student groups. And that will really help them throughout the year with getting the rest of the student body in your course engaged with them and knowing who their reps are.
Voting is also very simple. So once voting's opened, this year we kind of shortened the voting period and focused more on the nomination period. But once voting does open, students will just need to head to the elections website. It's the same website as the nominations website. The page will turn over on the elections day. If they're running an election, they can vote for themselves, and this is something we really try and stress to all candidates. We will be sending reminders out to everyone running that they can vote for themselves. But again, we think it's important for you to know that. All students in that cohort will run, so they won't kind of need to select which will be able to vote. So they won't need to kind of select which particular role they're voting for. They'll only be able to see roles eligible for their particular programme, their particular year. It's also worth noting in this election we're running this autumn, other roles are available, such as NUS delegates and liberation chairs, so they'll also be open and available on the elections website. All of our elections at GSU run by STV, Single Transferable Vote. We've got some information on our website about how that practically works, but it's important that kind of students know that that's the process that we're using, and that's similar for all NUS who are a returning officer for the elections.
So in terms of election rules and campaigning, and again, just to stress, all of this is going to be sent out and made available, and we've actually linked the PDF there as well. And this will also be in the information pack that we send you as well as to students. But as Olivia said, our priority here at GSU is really for a free, fair and accessible election. So we have a full rule list that we share and make available. It's on the website and in those other various places I just said. I won't go into too much detail about it, but it's the kind of rules that you would expect to see about making sure that you're allowing space for other candidates to share their manifestos and share their priorities, and not engaging in any kind of unfair campaigning action. And just we as GSU obviously hold all of the kind of responsibilities to ensure that fair process as well.
So I've mentioned a few times that we've made some changes based on the feedback that we heard from you guys last year. And we really did try to listen to everything that was said. We also interviewed students, so we did some calling. We called about 100, I think it was 120 to 150 students that we got responses from. We also sat down with academics, we attended some of your meetings, we set up independent conversations. If anyone feels that they didn't kind of get a say in that, we're very happy to talk to anyone at any stage, and we're very much, it's an ongoing process all the time. So if there are changes we can make now, we still will make them. So if there's feedback we still want to give, we will listen to it. But these are some of the changes we've already made based on the feedback that was given to us by the students and staff last year. So firstly, it's kind of the school network of Seoul has got a bit of a revamp. I mentioned that we trialed it last year, but there was some, like, I think it was too broad a portfolio, and that really came through from the feedback that we received. So this year we focused it on it being a page role that's very specific to representation. We really want to make sure we can build in that kind of relationship with the head of schools, and they'll be running their own school network forums as well. They're kind of going to have a bit more of a supervisory role over reps, and so we'll take some of the ownership of the community within each school, and have the leads for their programs that fit within that school portfolio as well. We're also introducing a new feedback collection form, which we're going to be rolling out to reps and school network officers to fill out every 2 weeks. So we're hoping to be able to gather feedback throughout the year in a continual rolling cycle, so that when they attend PCMs, they've already had, and GSU have already had, a set of feedback from them that we can use to kind of shape and influence those conversations in a more constructive way than kind of might have had previously. We're also going to be, after we've done that, we're hoping to put together monthly and termly reports to faculties to kind of shape, again, to kind of narrow down the feedback that we're hearing, so we can identify trends within the school with faculty or across the whole university. We're also going to be holding termly school network meetings, so I kind of touched on that with the school network officers. They'll be leading that, and they'll be feeding into our GSU processes in the student assembly. And that's kind of to allow a bit of a space between reps and SNOs to feedback with faculties and with GSU. We kind of trialed some of these last year where the officers ran them. This year, we're really focusing on the students leading them through the school network meetings. I mentioned as well, we had a longer nomination period. We're also going to be re-enrolling reps who ran last year. So anyone who was a representative last year will be automatically nominated inside the elections. That doesn't mean they automatically fill the roles. They will still need to kind of go through the election process. But we wanted to kind of make it as a simpler process as possible for them to run and kind of remove any red tape or any barriers that they might see. So we're going to be automatically enrolling them for them. We've also opened up a nomination form over the summer, which we've had over 200 responses on. Again, to kind of try and remove some of that tape for students' barrier to nominating. We've kind of opened it up so that, again, we have a very long nominations period. So if anyone's interested, they should have already filled out our expression of interest form. That form will still be live through the elections period, but we'll to kind of gauge if anyone is interested, but we will be really pushing students towards the elections and the nominations page after the 4th of September. So students who have nominated will be able to take the role even if they have received no votes. And so that might sound quite a small change, but actually that was based on a lot of feedback we had from GSU staff, because what happened last year is we made sure that all students had to receive at least 1 vote before being elected. And that what that actually meant was that some students nominated didn't vote for themselves, didn't receive any votes, and therefore couldn't go through the process. And that kind of led to a bit of a unconstructive process where we kind of had students who were wanting to participate but hadn't kind of understood the GSU structure. So this year we're removing that barrier, making sure that they will still be put through if they've put like a registered an interest in taking the role. We're also going to be doing increased monitoring of engagement. So we've kind of set up some more diligent and more embedded feedback processes, which we're going to be running throughout the year. I've already mentioned that we're going to do compulsory training. That'll be part of that. But we kind of built in some feedback loops and feedback processes, which will complement that as well. Last year we had a Find Your Rep tool on the website. This year we're improving it to make sure that all reps, particularly those who are co-opted, also are on there. So all students should be able to just use the tool on our website to look up which program they're in, and it should automatically show who their representative is. We also had some barriers last year during elections where we kind of had a delay on getting information out. That was because we didn't build a GDPR notice into our elections process. This time we've done that. So as soon as kind of we've got the results, we should be able to share it with you and the student body and be able to have it live on our website as well. And we're also kind of building the S&O role, and we'll be paying them to increase the quality of engagement and feedback.
So as Olivia touched on, co-option is a big part of what we're looking at this year. So all returning reps are going to be co-opted unless they request not to. And as Olivia said, that's to really help reduce those barriers to access. So each rep, as they return, will be moved on to the next role. So if they are currently a stage 1, they'll be moved to a stage 2, etc., etc. For any programs that don't have an elected rep or didn't receive a nomination, then we're going to run that co-option process. And that's where students will be able to stand for a position and they don't have to be voted in by their peers. Again, that's to try and just make sure we have as many active and engaged reps as possible, and to try to make sure we have all of those positions filled, so every program has a rep and every student has the opportunity to engage meaningfully with their program through their rep. You're on mute, Olivia.
Classic. So what can you do to help us out? So the key thing you can do is to encourage your tutees and your students to nominate themselves or to apply for the School Network Officer positions. We've been running the School Network Officer positions open during the summer. So if there's any students you think might be good for a role, do like push them forwards. But the key kind of thing during September and the beginning of October is really encouraging your students to nominate. And so whilst we'll be sending out communications, both to individual students, university-wide communications, we'll be putting up banners around the university, have digital screens up, we'll be doing everything we can to try and push it. Nothing is quite as valuable as the kind of someone being told by their lecturer or their personal tutor that they should go for the role. And I think that experience is kind of, if someone individually says to you, oh yeah, you'd be great, that's invaluable. And so that will really help encourage, but also just kind of encouraging within a whole lecture. I think the bonds that are formed within individual programs, again, can often kind of go beyond what we can do, sending university-wide communications or kind of putting things up around campus. And so anything you can do to help us promote is really, really helpful. So we would really, really encourage you and really be grateful for any help that you can offer in promoting the nominations. And then, of course, the voting when voting opens as well. We're very happy to help with any of that. So we're going to be putting together some slides which you can use in your lectures, kind of just 5 minutes at the end. But we're also really happy to come in and talk to you. So we've sent out forms that we can come and talk to you for induction sessions. But on the second side of that Excel spreadsheet, there's also a chance for you to say if you'd like us to come in and talk to you about any of your cohorts, about program representatives. And we're happy to do that for any year groups, no matter how small or big the class size is. If you want us to come in and give a bit of a spiel about why students should run, we're very happy to do that. We're also, we mentioned, we're kind of be running school network meetings once a term. We'd really love your attendance at those, so you can, again, be part of that mechanism that's gathering feedback and listening to what students have to say. We're going to be running, as we mentioned, kind of monthly and termly feedback reports, so keep an eye out for those. And we really appreciate any feedback that you've got on them as well, again, so we can kind of keep that two-way level of conversation going. Of course, we really would like you to also engage with the reps and their feedback. They're doing their job for a reason, and the more that you can listen to them, with the more that the work goes into making sure that the university experience is as good as it can be. And we really encourage reps to kind of give positive and negative feedback. So if something's going really well, we want to keep running it in future years. Similarly, if there's something that could be improved upon, we want to kind of build that into improving the curriculum and improving their student experience as well. And lastly, it's just letting us know how we can help. We really try our best to kind of do everything we can to support you, and we know that there's a lot going on throughout the term. And so we very much see that program representatives are our responsibility. But if there's anything we can do to kind of help in your area or help in your teaching or engagement with reps, we want to kind of be there for you. So do let us know if there's anything we can do to help.
And finally, as Olivia was saying, the things that we can do to help you, some of these she's already spoken about, but we can come along and speak in your induction sessions throughout WellCare. As Olivia said, we're very happy to do that. 5 minutes at the end of a lecture, we can come, a school network officer can come if you'd prefer to have that kind of student speaking, we can do that too. Or we can send you slides, we can send you pre-recordings, whatever you would prefer. If you just let us know in that form, which we will follow up with in the pack that this has come along with, just let us know what you'd like and we'll happily accommodate. We can offer guidance on how to approach the feedback that you receive as well. So if students are telling you lots of things and you're not really sure how to respond to it, we could definitely support with that. We can support with that kind of helping the reps to either give more targeted feedback or more guidance on what that area of improvement could look like, or what's working really well and would like to be replicated. Please just reach out to us. We're very happy to help. Of course, we'll connect you with your reps and your school network officers as well. And we can support if you have any students that you work with that you really want to give them that opportunity to engage in that leadership piece in our rewards and recognition. Of course, there's also the Greenwich Passport. Doing something like being a rep or a school network officer can open so many doors to having all of those other pieces of good work and things for their CV. So if you have any students that you think could really do with that confidence boost but need that additional support, please encourage them to reach out to us and we will happily support them with their campaigning and with their employability skills too. And of course, as we've been, I think, said about 5 times now, we are paying school network officers. We're very pleased to be able to do that. And yeah, we'd love to be able to offer some of your engaged students that paid opportunity as well to support them. So I think that just leaves us to move on to if there's any questions. So we will cut the recording for the sake of questions. But for those of you who are watching this as a recorded, please feel free to email us at reps@gre.ac.uk if you have any questions or any feedback. As we said earlier on, we're still in a position to be able to enact some of that feedback. So we'd very much love to hear it. If not, everything else that we've discussed, including the election rules and guidance, the form that you can submit to get us into your induction schedules, all of that is in this pack that we're sending round. So please do have a look out for that. But just to say thank you very much for coming, for listening, and for being a part of this. We really are excited to work with you throughout the year.
Thank you.